Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to show you how to make these cool witch chalices, cups. Today I am using my Fimo. I've got two shades of green, although it kind of looks like one shade of green. One's slightly lighter than the other one, and you can tell when it's in a rock form later on that there was two different colours. But what I'm literally doing is just picking at the Fimo, leaving it in its raw form, don't do anything with it. Then adding a little bit of Sculpey Primo translucent, just to give the rock a little bit of a different texture other than green. Then I'm going to go on and dump a load of gold paint in that I don't particularly like, so I end up spray painting it with some metallic Wilco spray paint afterwards, just to give it a layer. Just give it a good shake and you should have lots of clay pieces covered in paint. Once you have adequately covered your clay in gold paint that you don't like, spread them out and let them dry naturally. Then really decide you hate it, pick up some of this, spray paint it with that instead, and then wait for it to dry like I did. I'm using a little piece of cling film just to make my mould easy release, I suppose. I think you can like use oils and stuff like that, but I find using cling film a lot easier because, well, I don't have to buy any expensive oils. Cling film's nice and cheap. Literally just fill your mould with the cling film in there. Once the mould is full, pop the cling film out and you should have a perfect little gold nugget. Do this as many times as you want for as many stones as you like. I ended up doing a few big ones because I had quite a bit of clay spare. Once you have finished making all of your little golden nuggets, you can literally just pop them in the oven as is. Once they've cooled down, it's then time to prep them and turn them into stones. Here I am literally making my own little sanding sticks. I do this by using double-sided tape on lollipop sticks for the different grades of sandpaper that I'm going to use. You can buy like buffing blocks and stuff like that, but why spend the extra money when you can make it? That's what we are. We're arty people. We make stuff. So literally what I do is I cut down the bit of sandpaper that I need. I mark on the lollipop stick what grade it is, otherwise you're going to completely forget, although you probably could tell by touching it, but I'm a bit of an idiot and I need to know what grade it is, so I write it down instead. So before I start the sanding process, I make my life a little bit easier by rubbing down the stones with a bit of nail polish remover, or I don't know, white spirits or whatever it is that you want to use. And then I start running through the grades on my lollipop sticks, starting with the roughest sandpaper down to the smoothest. Once that's done, I cheat a little bit and I cover my stones with a bit of resin rather than going down the whole polishing route because it takes such a long time. So I do cheat a little bit, I have to admit. Bit of UV resin does the trick. Now that I have all of my rocks completed, I'm using my Fimo Stardust, I think it was called, to house all of these gems on my glass. I didn't want unpainted clay on the inside of the glass that you could actually see through, so I decided to use coloured clay for this project, as opposed to my usual Super Sculpey. To get the heaviest parts of the clay to stick to the glass, I'm just using the tiniest amount of clay adhesive, or bacon bond, that's what it used to be called, so clay adhesive, just to hold up the weightiest clay, which is obviously the gems. After that, it is literally down to decorating, and I think right now it looks so cute. It's like a little smiley face. To make sure most of my design is equal in size around the majority of the glass, I can't say it's perfect all the way around because it isn't, but I think that gives it more charm. It's unique. Every angle that you look at it is different. I roll up these sort of snakes of clay and then cut them down into as many equal portions as I can, and then I create my shapes from them, because technically it shouldn't be different sizes. Doesn't mean that that's always the case, but it shouldn't be. In principle, that's how I work it anyway. So this is part of the process that I don't actually end up keeping, but I wanted to show you it anyway, because one, I think it would have worked if I hadn't have screwed up the resin side of things, and two, you know, I sometimes think that we all get a bit discouraged when we're creating something and it doesn't quite go how we thought it would, so we give up. I just wanted to show that giving up isn't really an option, especially not for me, and it shouldn't be for anybody. It can be discouraging, but we can, you know, get past it and create something out of it, even if it has taken us a long time to make, which this did actually take me quite a long time to make, and it was fiddly as hell, and yes, I was annoyed because it didn't work, but it was a learning curve. So don't be ashamed if you make something and it doesn't work. Do it again, start again. It's not the end of the world. Now that we have pretty much finished making all of our fiddly stuff, it's time to put it in the oven. Now, I just wanted to say, when you put glass in the oven, I strongly suggest that you put your glass into a cold oven and you take it out of an oven that has cooled down after it has finished baking. Purely because you do not want your glass to shatter, which it will do if it is exposed to extreme temperatures very quickly. As you can see, now I am moving on to the resin stage. I don't end up keeping this at all, but I thought you might like to see why I didn't like it and the process that I went through to make it. And then I'll show you the process of the coasters that I did actually keep. So I mixed up a batch of clear resin and half poured into my mould, so it just sort of covered my polymer clay pieces, my tiny little delicate things, and then I allowed them to cure. But I did go ahead and add like this god-awful black glitter stuff as well, and it just didn't turn out right. I did try and save it by turning it into like a rocky texture, so it was similar to my rocks in my glasses, but it just didn't turn out right. It looked awful by the time I had finished. Now I am mixing the second batch of resin so that I can do the second layer in the green. I didn't completely forget to press record. This is the green layer that I did. Yeah, so there it is. There's the green pour. It doesn't look right when it's done. You'll see in a sec when I unmold it. It's just, I was so disappointed. I think you can probably even tell that I was disappointed in my hand movements. Just, I was looking at them going, no, it's awful. What have I made? Disaster! So this is my second attempt at making the coasters. slightly better than the first one. I have to admit, I like these ones a lot more. I literally just mixed up one batch of resin. I separated it down into several different cups and I dyed it with different acrylic paints. Now, I know you can buy like specialised inks and stuff like that, but I'm cheap and I try and do things the cheapest way possible. If you haven't noticed on this channel, I do things as cheap as I can. So I literally just dyed my resin using acrylic paint. Definitely don't use any paints that are water based because that will make your resin do weird funky things. Yeah, and then just poured and let the resin do its thing, and I don't think it turned out too bad. I quite like the pattern that the paint sort of created. It had like this nice grainy texture on the bottom and I really liked it. So would I do it again? Yeah, I probably would. I really quite enjoyed the process, and the coasters look really cool and the colour looks much better and I'm not left with these hideous things. And that's it, guys. My witchy chalices, witchy cups are completed. I hope you enjoyed watching the process. If you did, then please drop me a like. If you are new to the channel, then please hit the subscribe button. I do love a new subscriber, so please take a minute to subscribe if you enjoyed watching the video. Even better, if you guys could share away, that would be wonderful. It really does help support my channel. So thank you very much, guys, for being here, and I guess I will see you in the next one. So I'll see you later, guys. Bye.